Welcome to the campus of the United States Air Force Academy. You're looking at the iconic B-52 Diamond Lil, one of the many historic planes here at the Academy. Coming off one of the biggest wins in program history, the Air Force women's basketball team will try and make it back-to-back wins over the Boise State Broncos. Hello, everyone. I am Vince Greco, along with my broadcast partner, Rachel Galligan. Rachel, we sat here just 2 nights ago and watched the Falcons play their most complete game maybe in head coach Chris Goldbrick's tenure, as they were relentless.
They were relentless, and they did it on the defensive end of the floor. They were able to hold Boise State close to 30 points below their average coming into this game, right around 80 points per game. Air Force did it on the defensive end of the floor, and statistically that's going to be what they hang their head on. That's their bread and butter, and they're going to need to do that tonight headed into this one, along with balanced scoring. I mean, really across the board, you had bench contributions. Yep. You had a lot of the starters really stepped up, so it was balanced scoring, but the scoring was really determined by their defensive effort.
It was fantastic on the defensive side. Take a look at these two teams, how they match up heading into game number 2 of this contest. Field goal percentage, Broncos, despite not shooting that well on Wednesday, really are a good shooting team.
They're a good shooting team, and they can fill it up really quickly, and Air Force is playing with a lot of confidence right now. They're shooting extremely well, especially beyond the three-point line, shooting close to 50% in the game the other night. For me, the two big statistics, I'm not going to change it up too much from the other night, but it's going to be rebounding numbers. Boise State has to dominate the glass. They did not do that on Wednesday, right, and that's a huge part of what they have success with. But another part is just the turnover numbers. Air Force forced Boise State into 25 turnovers. They headed into that game averaging just 14. You can see that average is now equal with Air Force at 16. So the team that can win the battle of the boards, the team that can take care of the basketball, is going to win this game tonight.
Well, and the Falcons are going to have to do a pretty strong job of taking care of the only senior on the team for Boise State, and that is the 6'5" Mallory McGuire. She was frustrated in the last game as the Falcons really took the post play away from her. She'll need to really step it up tonight.
Yeah, the 6-foot senior. I mean, there's a huge advantage in the paint, and Air Force did a really good job of defending the interior, but that's kind of what I would anticipate Boise State's going to focus on tonight. McGuire comes into the game just second in the team on Boise State and scoring at 11.5 points per game, 9.5 rebounds per game. That's close to a double-double. So establishing her early in the paint, playing from the inside out, is going to be huge.
As for the Falcons, the 5'7" point guard from Suffolk, Virginia, Brianna Autry-Thompson, has been the team's rock all season long. She's coming off a game in which she scored 12 points, pulled down 7 rebounds, dished out 5 assists, and had 4 steals. What more can you ask for?
She really just stuffs the entire stat sheet. I mean, we talked about the success on the defensive end of the floor, and that's really what fuels their offense, and that's what Brianna Autry-Thompson does. She sets the tone defensively for the Falcons. She causes fits for ball handlers. She forces a ton of turnovers, and that ultimately leads for great shots for the Falcons.
Well, there you have it. When we come back, the Broncos and Falcons will tip it off. You're watching Air Force women's basketball on the Mountain West Network. Welcome back to Clune Arena. Boise State Broncos and the Air Force Academy Falcons set to tip off here for Game 2 of this season series. Let's take a look at those starting lineups for the Boise State Broncos. Wearing number 12, a freshman from Beaverton, Oregon, Mary Kay Naro. Number 25, Rachel Bowers. Watch out for the 5'10" junior from Sammamish, Washington. That is Jade Lavelle. Number 35, Alexis Mark. And rounding out the starting 5 for the Broncos, number 44, Mallory McGuire. Starters tonight for the Air Force Falcons. They don't change from last Wednesday. It's number 1, Brianna Autry-Thompson, who's been the real spark plug for this team. Number 3, Sierra Winters, a 5'7" junior. Number 13, Emily Conroe, had a really solid game this past Wednesday evening. Number 23, Riley Snyder, leads this team in scoring, averaging just at 19 points per game. And rounding out the starting 5 for the Air Force Falcons, a local product, number 55, Cassidy Huffman from Air Academy High School. Thanks for being with us, everyone. I am Vince Greco alongside My broadcast partner, Rachel Galligan. Falcons decked out in their white uniforms, trimmed in royal blue. The Broncos this afternoon will wear all black and the numerals in royal blue. Here we go. McGuire controls the tap. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Should be a good one. Rachel, Falcons are going to have to weather the storm early because you know the Broncos are going to come out hungry after what happened this last game.
Well, I can guarantee you that Boise State has a little bit of a fire underneath them right now, and it's all about how are they going to respond to that game on Wednesday. This is a team we talked about can really fill it up. It's averaging about 80 points per game. Love to play from the inside out, as you see the early post-entry pass there, but just like Air Force did on Wednesday, they have got to rely on great defensive rotations and communication.
I had a little whistle there, a malfunction with the clock apparently, as technical crew is going to take a look at that over there at the scorers table. Meanwhile, Air Force will have the basketball. And one thing I think that's different, obviously there's a lot different about this season for all sports, but Boise State came into town probably last Tuesday, played a game on Wednesday, had all day yesterday to practice, I don't know, do homework, sightsee in Colorado Springs, and then they're back on the floor again this afternoon. It's an early tip time, but that's not usually how it goes. When you're on the road, you play here, you may get on a bus, you go to Wyoming, you go to CSU. So the whole rhythm of this season has really changed for these teams.
Well, yeah, and most teams are not used to playing each other back-to-back. Completely unusual. You've seen a lot of conferences doing that so far this year just to try to eliminate travel and keep everyone safe.
Falcons have it, 10 to shoot on the shot clock. Scoreless game, first minute here at Clune. Autry Thompson splits the Giants, goes down on the floor, and we have a tripping foul. This one will go against McGuire. Falcons have it under their own basket. Riley Snyder has really had to step up for this young Falcons team. Takes it inside, kicks it up. Conroe launches the three, off back iron, no good. Rebound comes down into the hands of Mark for the Broncos, and they're pushing the pace early here, trying to find their rhythm, which they never got going in this past Wednesday's game.
Well, that's such a big part of this. Which team is going to set the tone, set the pace early? And Boise State missed a lot of early chippies in that game on Wednesday as offensive rebounding, second and third chance opportunities. They've had a lot of success with that. If you're Air Force, you've got to control the glass. You have to limit those second and third chance opportunities.
And Sierra Winters had a chance at that last rebound, couldn't corral, and Jade Lavelle makes them pay. Falcons answer in the paint. That's Riley Snyder, and we're even at 2.
Both teams being really aggressive early in terms of getting it to the rim, playing from the inside out.
Autry Thompson works against Nora, and then we've got a foul against McGuire. We saw that also in this last game, that Autry Thompson actually had to leave the game for a little bit after running into one of those picks from McGuire.
Yeah, she's run into a couple of those hard, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I agree with that call. I think she was set. We just have a huge difference in size there between those two players, and thankfully Autry Thompson's okay.
We talked about McGuire, the presence inside. She's a senior, she's 6'5", and in the first minute and a half we have 2 fouls called against her. So Gordy Presnell's already had to go to his bench and place her there with the risk of getting no more fouls. Broncos have it. Nara, excuse me. Ball nearly turned over, picked up by Mark. Drives inside, good job of defending. Nice pass inside, and another missed layup from the Broncos. And we did see a lot of that. They've got to hit those early to get some of that confidence. Autry Thompson has it knocked away out of bounds, trying to find Snyder in the corner. Falcons will have it.
And that's that length that the Broncos have. They've got a real size advantage. Now it's not as definitive right now with McGuire on the bench, but the length really frustrated Air Force on Wednesday.
Sierra Winters spins against Lavelle, tries to get it off, scoop off the glass, no. Rebound comes down to Abby Muse, who replaced McGuire, and the Broncos control quickly the other way. Naro working against Autry Thompson, throws it up, good shot, and the Broncos back out in front.
Really pretty take there by Naro. Love how she was pushing that pace. She was going to make Air Force stop her.
Snyder in front of the Broncos bench. Conroe picks up her dribble. Snyder wide open. Nope, off the back of the rim. Back the other way come the Broncos. So those threes that the Falcons were hitting 48 hours ago, eluding them so far, but it's way early. Lavelle throws up an air ball, regained by the Broncos. Back inside, back to Lavelle. Tries it again, and this time it's money. She seems a little more focused than the other night. She wants that basketball, and she's 2 for 3 on the evening.
She's a pure scorer. Comes in here averaging, prior to Wednesday, was averaging about 26 points per game, had really been on a tear, and she can fill it up quick, constantly looking for opportunities to put the ball in the basket. One of the prettiest jump shots I've seen in a while.
Autry Thompson has it, looking for some space, goes inside, takes a shot to the face. She's holding her lip, I think, and a foul will go against the Broncos. Substitutions early here. Sierra Winters will sit down momentarily. Kaylin Emmel checks back in for the Falcons. Emmel's missed a few games this year. It'd be good to have her back in the lineup, especially that scoring touch. The Falcons could really use it. Foul is going to be called against Air Force. Cassidy Huffman. And unlike the game last Wednesday, a lot of fouls early in this one. They let them play pretty good in the first couple of quarters last week, or earlier in the week.
And both teams are competing. You know, when the shot goes up, they're competing on the glass. When there's a loose ball, there's bodies flying everywhere. So I was curious how this was going to be called, and so far definitely been tight.
Ball stolen away by Emily Conroe. Good defense by Air Force. They're going to call a double dribble against Autry Thompson. It looked to me like that was deflected and it came back to her. She tried to bounce pass it and it came back to her.
I think ultimately ended up being a carry.
Turnover for Air Force. That is their third already here early in the first quarter. Kimora Sykes into the lineup. Good anticipation by Emmel, forcing that steal.
Well, and that's scouting report. You know, you've been in the film room, you've watched enough of Boise State's games, understanding they do want to play from the inside out, and that's that backside rotation that can cause so many frustrations when they're on it, and so far, they've been really successful with it.
Falcons haven't scored a bucket in over 3 minutes, and they throw it away here. 4 turnovers for Air Force. Quickly run the Broncos. Naro gets it to go. And it's an 8-2 advantage for Boise State.
You can see how quickly Boise State can capitalize off turnovers. That's why that's such an important number for Air Force.
Conroe gets it to the corner. Emmel regains possession. He's going to have to get rid of it. A couple of Broncos had her in the corner. Snyder inside. Spin shot. Nope. Falcons have not found that shooting touch here in quarter number 1. Naro up top to Lalott. Falcons extending that defense a little bit, trying to make those Broncos work for everything they can out there. Naro gets a step on Autry Thompson, and the layup goes. A little bit different strategy, as Naro was pretty quiet in game number 1 of this series, and she has 4 points already tonight.
Naro comes into this game averaging just over 7 points per game. Well on her way.
Conroe will launch the 3. Yes, Emily Conroe, a big bucket for Air Force, ends that scoring drought, and the Falcons cut that lead to 5. Autry Thompson had 4 steals the last game. There's Lavelle. She is red hot right now from the field. 3 of 3 shooting is Jade Lavelle. Emmel shot a little too long. Falcons come back with some great hustle. There's Snyder. She wants the 3 off the front of the rim. Rebound comes down to the Falcons, and they'll set it up. Nice job by Nikki McDonald boxing out and getting that long rebound. Snyder has it poked away. Picks it up. Looks for a screen from Autry Thompson. Ball's on the floor. And instead of a jump ball, they're going to call a foul on Riley Snyder over the back. Checking in for Air Force will be Kayla Pilson, and we'll have those substitutions that Boise State makes right after this, as it's been a quick first quarter. 2:49 remains in quarter number one. We'll step away for a timeout. This is Air Force women's basketball on the Mountain West Network. Mentioned a quick first quarter. Boise leads this one to 12-5, and they have the basketball. The Broncos have scored on their last 4 possessions down the floor. Will they score on this one? Ball is tipped around into the hands of Autry Thompson. They will not. Here comes Thompson. Ball, and she kicks it away. That's another turnover. Air Force has got to take care of the basketball. Alexis Mark tried for the layup, but no avail. It'll be the Broncos ball under their own basket. Anna Osley has checked in for Boise State. She controls the ball right now, working against Conroe. Conroe can't get through a screen. Broncos directing traffic. Kimora Sykes tries to get it inside. There's Kaylin Emmel with this interception. Emmel trying to get inside. Layup is good, and that's what you like to see from Kaylin Emmel. Well, that goes coast to coast, and she drove to the basket with some confidence.
Yep, we talk about Kaylin Emmel a lot. She's the veteran leader of this team, came into the season as the leading scorer. This is just her 4th game of the season, so still getting her legs underneath her just a little bit.
Nice turnaround shot by Rachel Bowers, the 6'3" junior from Newhall, California. Posted up and spun it, got it to drop.
And that's got to be a sigh of relief for Boise State. It's been so difficult for them to get a post touch and a post finish, as Air Force has done, in my opinion, a really good job defending the paint so far.
Conroe tries to force it inside. Broncos steal it away. Sykes quickly the other direction. Ball stolen away by Air Force. Kayla Pilson read that pass perfectly. See if the Falcons can't get back in the scoring column. Approaching that 1-minute mark of quarter number one. Pilson gonna take it herself, gets a little gap off the side of the rim. No, out of bounds. Last touch by Nikki McDonald. It'll belong to Boise State. Coming into the game for Air Force will be number 2, Audrey Gaddison, 5'7" junior. Played extremely well the other night, had 4 3-pointers. She comes in and gives Autry Thompson a bit of a breather. See if she can't pick up where she left off with that shooting touch just 48 hours ago.
Man, that was fun. She was on fire.
She sure was.
The team was jumping up and down before she even released the ball on every shot she took.
A rare miss for Lavelle. Air Force has it. Conroe has it baseline. Takes it inside the paint and is foul. Oh, it's going to be called for a travel. And another turnover by Air Force. That'll be number 8 here in just quarter number one.
Yeah, it has not been the prettiest quarter so far. A lot of turnovers. Both teams averaging 16 turnovers per game.
Osley working against Gaddison, who's really got the feet moving. And a reach-in foul will go against Gaddison. A lot more substituting we've seen early on from head coach Gordy Personnel for Boise State. Naro will work for the final shot for the Broncos as they lead this one by 7. Naro takes it inside, and Falcons have played really good defense, but that's just too easy.
Man, she's been tough. She's doing a great job of picking seams and being aggressive.
Falcons cannot get that shot off before the end of the quarter, as you can see Kaylin Emmel talking to Audrey Gaddison. Hey, we got to be quicker. When we come back, we'll have second quarter action. Don't go anywhere. This is Air Force women's basketball on the Mountain West Network. Falcons down 16-7 to begin quarter number 2. Rachel, it should come as no real surprise. Boise State has outscored their opponents in the first quarter this year, 117-86. And it could be worse for the Falcons. They only shot 30%, Broncos 57%, and they're very much in the game.
And they're being aggressive. I think if you had to say which team was setting the tone, setting the pace, it was the Broncos. Although both teams turning the ball over a little right on cue.
Yep.
It's like I jinxed it. Both teams turning the ball over way too much, as you see both coaches talking to their squads about taking care of the basketball.
The Broncos are doing a better job than the Falcons, although they also have 6 turnovers early in this game. Skip pass goes across court to Reagan Reed. Tries to get it inside and tipped away. Sierra Winters has checked back in, gets the errant pass, and then the Falcons, I'm not on the floor, throw it away as quickly as they got it. And the coaches now really trying to get on their players to take care of that basketball. Naro throws it inside to Lavelle, working against Sierra Winters. 3 Falcons converge to take away the shot opportunity for Lavelle. Falcons slow it down, trying to control the pace here. And a travel will go against Autry Thompson. That's just fundamentals.
I mean, it's tough. You know, it's tough because you're trying to make the right play and you've got to be able to just settle down a little bit, regroup.
Naro goes to the basket again, this time off the side of the rim, gets her own rebound, lobs it inside to Lalott, who can't get it, and finally the Falcons corral the rebound.
Definitely a big break there for Air Force.
Falcons looking to score their first points of this second quarter. Both teams looking to score their first points. Bounce it inside. Huffman has it. Nice spin move off the glass and in. I'd like to see a little more of that from Cassidy Huffman. That was effective.
You know, she's poised, and a lot of post players, when they get the ball down on the block, playing with their back to the basket, tend to rush. And what I love about Huffman is she takes her time. She's poised with the basketball. She waits to see where her defender is, and she completes the play.
Naro missed again, and then Lalott had the same look and cannot get it to go. Ball goes out of bounds, and it goes to the Air Force Falcons. Checking in for the Broncos, Anna Osley, 5'8" freshman from Scottsdale, Arizona, and Kaylin Emmel back in for Coach Gobrecht and the Falcons. Emmel will run point while Autry Thompson takes a breather. Tries to go right side, working against Naro. Wanted to bounce it inside to Snyder. Wisely takes it back out to Sierra Winters. Emmel holds up a fist. Under 10 to shoot for Air Force. Looking for a pick from Snyder. She gets it. Wants to launch the 3. A little short. Goes out of bounds. It'll belong to the Broncos. Good look, though, for Kaylin Emmel.
Really good defensive possession there by the Broncos. Knowing the scouting report, understanding that horn set that Air Force just ran, communicated on it, forced the tough shot.
Naro has it for the Broncos. Lobbed inside Conroe. Nice job of knocking that away. Lavelle has a lane off the glass. No, there's Snyder. Big rebound for Air Force. They're doing the job defensively here in the second quarter. They got to find their offensive rhythm here and get back into this one. Winters goes baseline. 2 Broncos pick her up. Needs some help. And a foul will be called against the Broncos. Rachel Bowers. That's a fortunate break there for Air Force. Emily Conroe is going to take a little bit of a breather. Dasha McMillan in for Air Force. Good defense by Osley. Get the ball out to Emmel. Again, shot clock is winding down. Emmel goes baseline. Finds the Snyder in the corner. She's going to have to hurry. Riley creates some space. And there is the horn for the shot clock violation, and the Broncos, again, a good job defensively.
I think they're doing a really good job of making Air Force play sideways. They're not giving any straight line looks to the basket. They're causing a lot of frustrations with their length.
Lob inside, spinning and making that shot is Rachel Bowers.
Being able to throw the ball inside and play from the inside out is such a key for Boise State.
4th point of the game for Bowers. Falcons, again, trying to find their scoring touch. Instead, they've got that turnover bug going again. Brianna Autry-Thompson checks back in for the Falcons. 13 turnovers committed by Air Force, and we've got 2.5 quarters to go in this basketball game. Nice pass inside, and another easy one. Alexis Mark.
Really great look there. Great execution. Great feed on that dive.
Autry-Thompson trying to find the spark for her and her teammates. Just crushed inside. Foul goes against number 25, Rachel Bowers.
Autry-Thompson is just relentless. She's taken a beating so far in this series, and she just bounces back up, and she just brings so much energy to Air Force, and really that spark plug that makes this team go.
Abby Muse will check back in for Boise State. Emmel lobs it up top to Autry-Thompson. Falcons will set it up. Autry-Thompson finds a gap, cannot get the running layup to go, fighting for the rebound, and that ended up in the hands of Muse, and they go the other way quickly. Steal by Emmel. 2-on-2. Autry-Thompson under the basket, has it blocked, gets it back, tries again, blocked again. Muse, a big presence down there. Now numbers for Boise State. Lavelle lobs it over, and an easy bucket for Alexis Mark. Timeout going to be called here by Coach Gobrick and the Falcons as they find themselves down 22-9 with 4:55 to go in the second quarter. We'll step away as well. Timeout on the floor. This is Air Force women's basketball on the Mountain West Network. Back. Big difference from 48 hours ago has been Mary Kay Naro. She leads the Broncos in scoring so far in this game, as she has been very aggressive, Rachel, going to the basket and converting.
Yeah, she's been really fun to watch so far, just really putting her head down and making a decision. She's going to find a way to be aggressive and fuel Boise State, but I'm more impressed with what Boise State's been able to do so far defensively. They've really amped it up. I think they've answered the bell in terms of what their head coach Gordy Presnell has challenged them to do in this matchup. Everything Air Force is doing is being contested. They're having to work for every look they get, and that length, you see it on that possession and the one before, just altering a lot of shots.
They've taken a page out of Air Force's book from the last game they played, where Air Force was just so quick to the basketball defensively that really frustrated Boise State. And now the Broncos are doing the same thing to the Falcons so far in this one. They are not giving them, as you said, any looks. They're keeping everything outside. They've got blocked shots. The Falcons have turned the ball over 13 times. So the Falcons are going to have to come up with an answer to that defense.
A little bit of a breakdown there by Air Force. I can hear my coach yelling in my head, "Don't foul jump shooters." And you know, you get them to shoot kind of a tough shot here in the corner, and you've got at that point allow yourself to secure the rebound. But fouling a jump shooter and sending him to the free throw line is definitely a no-no.
These are the first free throws on the season for Osley. Now 1 for 2 on the year. Boise extends the lead 23-9. Falcons have not scored their last 7 trips down the floor. On the other side, the Broncos are on a 7-0 nothing run over the last 2 minutes, and that is a tough break, as Emmel had a great look and just missed the shot in the paint.
Well, and what you can't do if you're Air Force is allowed the fact that you haven't seen the ball go through the basket in a while, and a shot like that not go in to affect how you're playing defensively, because I think they've done a good job defensively holding Boise State to the shots they want them to take. But you start to lose that momentum when you're struggling to have some confidence offensively.
Was your coach's voice in the back of your head there when Osley took the three-pointer, was not boxed out, got her own rebound, and scored?
Yeah, I have flashbacks to being put on the line for that.
25-9, Air Force has it. On the floor for the Falcons are Autry, Thompson, Pilson, Conroe, Emmel, and McDonald. Conroe tries to find Emmel. Donald instead spins, and it rattles out. Those are the same shots that were falling the other night, and they just can't get it to go right now.
Air Force shooting just 20% on the game so far. Have not scored in over 5 minutes. You know, and this is a pretty good look. I like this look. I think McDonald's fun to watch with her back to the basket. She might have been pushed out a little too far, but that's a good look for Air Force.
Lavelle squares to the basket. High arcer over Emmel. No. Ball on the floor, and McDonald will come up with the rebound. Emmel is going to launch the three and has it blocked. That's at least the second or third block shot by Abby Muse. So she's picking up where McGuire left off. McGuire was, remember, out of this game with 2 quick fouls, and Abby Muse has really stepped it up. Take another look here as Naro comes inside and is going to be, or draw the foul. She'll go to the free throw line. First one is a little bit short. Only a 33% free throw shooter so far this season. Unusual for a point guard. Second one also no good. McDonald comes away with another rebound. Autry Thompson picks up her dribble. Bounces finally to McDonald. Broncos really doing their job. Stingy defense. Here comes Autry Thompson down the lane, fouled and cannot get it to go. But to your point earlier, she was crushed again, taking it inside. Take a look.
This is what she does great, you know, and she knows how to create contact. A lot of times she can finish with contact. And Air Force yet to shoot a free throw so far in this game. Kind of a credit to how Boise State has defended. Again, I talked about them playing side to side. Air Force has not been able to get any clean looks to the basket, and with this being just their first free throw attempt of the game, that's proof right there.
Autry Thompson makes both free throws. Now she'll take a rest in this final 2 minutes and 30 seconds as Audrey Gaddison has come back in. Naro, half court pressure applied by the Falcons, and they break it pretty easily. Naro has it back up top. Nice pass inside to Mark. In the corner, Lavelle will launch and swish. Good looking shot by Jade Lavelle. Falcons down 16 at the 2-minute mark of quarter number 2.
Really good ball movement there by the Broncos. Able to handle that little half-court pressure that Air Force will throw out from time to time.
Pilson gives to Winters. Sierra will drive, has it partially blocked. She holds her shin as she was hit going up for the shot. Looks like it'll go against Alexis Mark. 2 shots coming for the Falcons and Sierra Winters. Not much of a breather for Kaylin Emmel as she is back on the floor, replacing Audrey Gaddison, who was in for about 20 seconds. First free throw is good for Winters. Falcons doing a pretty good job at that free throw line. Second one also good for Air Force, so they are 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Here comes a little again that half court pressure. Falcons going to more of a zone look than the man-to-man look, and they may think about that because Lavelle has beat them twice on the last 2 possessions.
It's really good execution. When you're going against a zone or even a full court extended zone, you want to get the ball to the free throw line and then fan it out from there. They've executed it to perfection in the last 2 possessions.
Conroe tries to spin inside, bounces nicely to Pilson, and she gets it to go. Quick effort from Pilson, and the ball rolls over the front of the rim and in.
And that's just being active without the ball in your hands, looking for opportunities to cut through the defense, catch your defender with their head turned.
Falcons back in a man-to-man defense. Winters works against Lavelle, who has to pick up her dribble. Picks it up top. And stolen away by Air Force. Lucky break for the Falcons. They nearly turned it over. Winters, Conroe is wide open for the jumper and buries it. Emily Conroe.
Now you got to buckle down and see if you can get yourself a stop and go execute one more time on the offensive end, chip into this lead before you head into half and give yourself some momentum.
Shot on the way, off the rim, no good. Falcons have it. Emmel slows it down for Air Force. Falcons scored the last couple times down. They, as you said, Rachel, could really use a bucket here. Conroe gets a step baseline, spins underneath, blocked away by who else? Abby Muse. Now the Broncos will have to hurry. 7 to shoot. Naro takes it inside, uncontested, and a blocking foul will go against Air Force. Really surprised, Rachel, that nobody picked her up before she gets inside the paint.
Well, and she's been doing this the whole game. I mean, I feel like everybody in the gym at this point knows when she's got the ball in her hand, she's looking for an opportunity to get it to the basket. You've got to pick her up, especially before the 3-point line. That's a communication breakdown.
2.2 seconds to go. Naro at the line, converts the free throw. She'll have one more. Second one is also good. See if the Falcons can launch at the length of the court. There is Emmel. It was online, but a little bit short, and the Falcons are down at the half. Unlike 48 hours ago, the Broncos have responded to the challenge, and they lead this one 31-17. We're going to take a bit of a break. We'll come back with some statistics, some highlights, a recap of quarters 1 and 2 right after this here on the Mountain West Network. 31-17, that is the score at Clune Arena here at halftime. Thanks for being with us, everyone. I am Vince Greco alongside Rachel Galligan. And Rachel, before we get into the stats of this one, you have said it this entire game, but defensively, that has been the difference. 48 hours ago was for the Falcons, but Boise State dictated the play defensively tonight. Yeah,
I've been really impressed with how they've responded and come out so far this game. They've made everything that the Falcons have earned tonight extremely difficult, really forcing them to play side to side. They're not allowing anything easy north to south. They've done a really good job at keeping Air Force off the free throw line. Air Force right now shooting just 25% from the field, which is well below their season average. We did have 1 3, shooting 16.7%. Boise State still unable to connect from the 3-point line, but as you look down there, as we said before the game, the biggest key to me are rebounding and turnovers. Boise State is controlling the glass right now. They've got 6 second chance opportunities. Honestly, Air Force is lucky it's not more than that with how much they've kind of been controlling the glass, at least offensively. And those turnover numbers, Air Force, way too many turnovers coming into the game, just averaging 16. And Boise State's done a really good job of capitalizing off of them. They've got 8 points off Air Force turnovers.
Well, and you talk about the 3-point field goal percentage that the Broncos have 0. They don't need it. They have scored 18 points. 18 of their 31 points have come in the paint. And the Falcons, and we talk about defense, they're just 2 of their last 13 from the field. So they're going to have to get better offensively and take care of that basketball.
Just the length is frustrating them, and I think that, you've got to make some adjustments. You've got to adjust different rotations and who you want to have in a game. But ultimately, got to see the ball go through the rim a couple times. Get yourself to the free throw line. Gain that confidence that you don't have right now. Air Force isn't. isn't doing anything too bad defensively. I mean, Boise State holding them to 31 at half is not bad, but Air Force comes into the game averaging 68 points a game, being held to 17. You can see the issues are the offensive end of the floor and being able to connect on shots.
Great crowd here at Clune Arena this afternoon. When we come back, we'll have some highlights of quarters number 1 and 2. Don't go anywhere. This is Air Force women's basketball on the Mountain West Network. Thanks for being with us today here at Clune Arena. Beautiful day in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Expecting a little snow tomorrow. We can use it. Falcons and Broncos back on the floor. It'll be the Broncos with the basketball to start quarter number 3. Good look at Mary Kay Naro and Riley Snyder for the Air Force Falcons. Broncos controlled the first 2 quarters, shooting 50%. Falcons just 25%. And the Falcons start out in that extended zone again. This is where Lavelle hurt them, and she's got it. And this time it's no good. She was well beyond the 3-point line. Rachel, back when I played 100 years ago, if I took a shot that far out, my coach would have had my butt on the bench.
I don't doubt that for 2 seconds.
Autry Thompson leading the charge here for Air Force. Winters regains possession. Conroe will launch the 3, and this one's a little short. Emily tried to hustle for her own rebound. No, ball poked away from Lavelle. Good work by the Broncos. That looked like disaster, and they turned it into pay dirt. Conroe down in the corner to Huffman. McGuire has come back in. Both teams start this third quarter the way they started the first one. Snyder fights through a good defense by the Broncos and gets that left-handed jumper to fall. Naro spins against Autry Thompson. This time gets through the pick of McGuire. Well up top. Bowers guarded by Conroe. Mark has it knocked away. Conroe has it, and she's on the line. So it'll go over to Boise State. Good news, I guess, there for the Falcons. Just 6 on the shot clock for the Broncos to get a shot off. You see that good hustle play by Conroe, but just had a shoulder on the out-of-bounds line.
Well, and that's what Air Force has to do. They cannot let up defensively. They've done a pretty good job of making it difficult for them. Gotta allow your defense to, at some point, hopefully fuel into your offense.
McGuire takes a shot, gets it off before the time expires, but hard off the glass. No, Snyder going against McGuire in the paint, tries to dump it off to Huffman. She does. Cassidy spins under the basket, fouled, and she will go to the free throw line for a pair.
Really two good back-to-back possessions there by Riley Snyder. The leading scorer for this Air Force Falcon team at 19 points per game, was held to just 2 in that first half. So coming out of the gate, looking for opportunities for herself. That time driving a little bit.
Substance for those avenues from Huffman. First miss of the afternoon at the free throw line for Air Force. Second free throw is good. Naro calls out the play for her teammates. Had a quick step, nice pass inside, just a little too much. Good idea by the Broncos, but off the fingertips of Jade Lavelle. Falcons down 13. Take big steps here, maybe cut it to single digits the next couple possessions. Snyder loses control, picks it up, hand on row. Huffman has it knocked away from her. Good hands, quick hands by McGuire. 9 seconds for Air Force to shoot. Conroe looks to throw it inbounds, does so to Autry Thompson, and she is grabbed by Naro. Watch again as Autry Thompson just takes shot after shot. Boxing is a required class for every cadet, females included at the Air Force Academy.
I did not know that.
Yes, it is. So maybe that time in the ring has really toughened her up. Foul underneath by the underneath official. A blocking foul, a pick foul called against Air Force.
Potentially a little makeup call? I'm not sure. Both coaches are frustrated with a couple of these last calls.
Naro crosses the half-court line, gives it off to Lavelle. Broncos get it back to Lavelle. Working against Winters, spin move. Shot rattles around, no. So again, Air Force is coming defensively. Just got to find the offensive touch, see if it happens on this possession. Huffman, top of the key, gives it quickly back to Thompson. Autry Thompson spins, and there's the quick hands again of McGuire, just reaching in from behind. Foul called against Air Force as really quickly coming the other way where the Broncos pushing that pace.
Really tough to defend turnovers, and that's case in point right there. If you give Boise State the opportunity to get out and run, especially in an advantage situation like that, disadvantage situation.
2 shots coming for Muse. First is a little strong. Muse, a 56% free throw shooter so far on the season. Broncos come in here today with just 1 loss, and that was to the Falcons 2 days ago. Second free throw is good. Slow pace by the Falcons here to start this third quarter. Autry Thompson picks up the dribble. Conroe tries to bounce it inside to Huffman. Double team now. Cassidy takes it in. Gives it back out to Snyder. She's going to have to shoot. Riley lets it go. Good position by Conroe. Kicks it out. Huffman thought about it. Instead, kicks it out to Autry Thompson. She'll launch the 3. Yes! Brianna Autry Thompson really bangs that one in when it counts. No foul there. Lavelle from the corner. No. Thompson. Conroe underneath working the rebound, and Air Force will have it. Here comes Sierra Winters quickly the other way. Layup is swatted away. That's the 6th block of the game by the Broncos. That one will get credited to Mallory McGuire, and then a foul called against Cassidy Huffman.
Definitely a break there for Boise State. They were kind of caught sleeping a little bit on that last possession. Air Force pushing the pace up the floor. We're not able to capitalize, but Boise State been held scoreless here for the last 3.5 minutes as Air Force has tried to create opportunities to chip into this lead.
Kaylin Emmel is back in for the Falcons. Cassidy Huffman needs to watch out as she's playing with 3 personal fouls. Here's another fast break opportunity for Air Force. Autry Thompson again converts. Nice pass from Snyder to Thompson. Look at Emily Conroe hustle for the loose ball. She gets it over to Autry Thompson. Tries to find Emmel. Boy, what great hustle by Conroe. Back come the Broncos. Inside, McGuire has it tapped away, and it goes out of bounds off of Autry Thompson. But a good spark there for Air Force.
And look at Autry Thompson. Comes down here, executes on the layup, creates an opportunity, sprints down to the other end of the floor, is able to get her hands on what would have been, I would imagine, a really easy Boise State basket. And that's just hustle. Right now, Air Force a little bit of a spark, just making those hustle plays, trying to chip into this lead, and just like that, it's a single-digit ball game.
Huffman will take a breather for the Falcons. A couple of substitutions for Boise State as well. Rachel Bowers back in, as is Kimora Sykes. Anna Osley is also checked in for the Broncos. Lob inside. Good hands by Conroe. Late whistle, but Emily will be called for going over the back of Mallory McGuire.
Yeah, that's the right call right there. You can't be poking through from behind like that on that post up. You want to be able to rotate, get around that offensive player a little bit more than what she was able to do.
4 fouls on the Falcons, and that's a nice look inside as Rachel Bowers takes a nice feed and converts. Snyder quickly launches. Riley, no, off the foot of McGuire, and Air Force will have it back. Riley still looking for her first 3-pointer in this contest. She'll get one before it's over. Nikki McDonald is checked in for Air Force. She gets it back from Conroe. Emmel will launch for 3, and that's a sight for sore eyes as Kaylin Emmel knocks down the 3.
Beautiful extra pass there. Instead of giving yourself a good shot, get yourself a great shot.
Conroe again going to be called for the reach in as she just wasn't quick enough on that anticipation. And we've got our first timeout. It's a media timeout in quarter number 3. Broncos 36, Falcons 28. We're back in a minute. This is Air Force women's basketball on the Mountain West Network. Falcons inching their way back into this one. They're down by just 8 here halfway through this third quarter. And they're starting to do a little bit better defensively, getting under the skin of this Boise State team, much like they did in game number 1.
Yeah, just kind of chipping away, being relentless, getting themselves to the free throw line a couple of times, seen the ball go through the net a couple of times. I love that last possession, that little penetrating kick with the extra pass. We've seen Air Force be pretty patient so far, out of halftime, but at the same time, their foot on the gas when they need to. So they've really worked hard in the half court, looking for those correct shots, looking for those right shots, now not allowing themselves to get too rattled.
Waiting for a play to resume here in the third quarter. This is what kills me. We've been in a 2-minute media timeout, and they could have figured this out then, and then they wait till the horn stops before they decide what they're going to call here.
It's always something, isn't it?
At the free throw line will be Rachel Bowers. Good free throw shooter, 71% on the season. Broncos already in the bonus at 4.5 to go in quarter number 3. Just 2 fouls called so far in this quarter against the Broncos. Both free throws are good. Dasha McMillan has come in for Air Force during that timeout. Autry Thompson working against Osley. Here's McMillan. Snyder does not get much of a screen from Emmel, but she'll launch from 3. Same spot, this time a little short. McGuire with the rebound. And the Broncos want to push the pace. Here comes Naro. Falcons back in their man-to-man defense. McMillan, near steal by Autry Thompson. She's on the floor with it and will have a jump ball, and the Falcons will have it. Possession arrow favors the Air Force Falcons.
There you have it again, just a hustle play. You know, the first player on the floor after a loose ball typically is going to get it. Autry Thompson creating an opportunity for her Falcons to continue to chip into this lead. Now back to a 10-point game.
She has it, looking for a screen from Nikki McDonald. Snyder quickly turns, faces the basket, and she's got it. Love to see Riley Snyder heat up here in the second half of this game. Broncos, Sykes in front of her own bench, lobs it into McGuire, skip pass to Ostley. She'll launch for three, and it's a little strong. Who's going to come down with the rebound? Snyder does, goes off her foot, still on the floor, and we'll have another jump ball, and it won't favor the Falcons this time. Tough break, as they did control that rebound, had it knocked away, and it'll go back over to the Broncos.
I'm just always so impressed when I see players just willing to dive on the floor after loose balls. Never something as a former coach that you take for granted, you know, having a team that's tough like that and willing to kind of take that hit.
Sykes going against Snyder. McGuire way up top. Guarded by McDonald. Muse lobs it inside. McGuire working, backs in, and gets the shooter's touch. You talked about that in the pregame, that she wasn't able to do that in game number one, and finding some space here today is Mallory McGuire.
Just her second shot attempt of the game. Coming into this game as the second leading scorer for this Boise State team. Been frustrating so far. She didn't get to play a lot in that first half with foul trouble.
Foul called against the Broncos. Just their third foul, and went against McGuire. So she'll step back out. Falcons will inbound under their own basket. Immel has it knocked away and out of bounds. Last touched by Air Force. It'll belong to the Broncos. Good shot of head coach Chris Gobrick in her 6th season here at the Air Force Academy. Great lady, great coach.
Correction, that foul was not on McGuire. She still has just 2.
I'm sure that's a good thing. They're breathing a sigh of relief on that Broncos bench. Naro again. Most of her points have been off layups. It's that she's really created. Back the other way, it's Immel. Shot was altered. Immel can't get it to go, and she'll come back and play some defense now against Ostley. Falcons have had their chances. They just can't get some of those easy looks to go.
Yeah, there's been a handful of those that have not gone for the Falcons tonight.
Sykes gets it over to Muse. Down in the corner, Ostley. Back up top, Mark has it. Crosses over. Long three by Ostley. No. Immel had good position, but there you see again the length of Abby Muse.
The shot clock did not reset.
So instead of 20, there's 17 on the shot clock. Broncos will have it. Mark will take it out just to the right of our vantage point. Into the game for the first time tonight is Christina Gill, the 5'8" freshman from Barcelona, Spain.
One of my girls right there. Had an opportunity to watch her play in Barcelona.
Puts the ball on the floor. Good job of defending by Winters. Under 10 to shoot. Ostley picked up by McMillan. Ostley gets it back. Gonna have to be quick. Shot is on the way, and that is how you work the shot clock to the max, as Ostley hits it as time expired.
Really good patience there by Boise State, as they are now currently on a 6-0 run, the last minute and a half.
Falcons had it down to 8, now back up to 14 for the Broncos. Foul goes against Boise State. Just the 4th team foul. Next one will put the Falcons in the bonus, but time winding down in the 3rd quarter. McDonald thought about hitting a cutting Kaylin Emmel. Falcons not doing a lot of moving right here. Emmel working against Gill. Gets a step, stops, and then has it blocked, and the foul will go against Christina Gill. That'll send Kaylin Emmel to the free throw line to shoot two. Take another look. Good. There was a foul called there, but the other night there would have been no backside help. Kaylin Emmel would have had a wide open jumper, so the Broncos have really figured out an answer to stopping some of those wide open shots for the Falcons.
I think they're doing a good job getting their hand up, you know, contesting shots more than what they did the other night. That length, you've got to utilize it. Otherwise, you know, it goes to waste. So a lot more deflections, a lot more blocks, a lot more frustration, as we've talked about all night, for Air Force, having to earn everything they get.
No doubt. Emmel 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Osley hit last time down for the Broncos. Nice pass inside. Muse does not get it to go. Fight for the rebound on the floor. A jump ball, and the Falcons will get it. And a chance to end this third quarter with a bucket. McMillan will give it off to Emmel, and Kaylin will run the show here the last 27 seconds. Falcons playing for the last shot. Emmel goes between the legs. And here comes the offense. Emmel nearly loses it, is fouled, and will go to the free throw line. So that's something you don't want to see if you're the Broncos, with under 10 seconds to go, sending your opponent to the free throw line.
Yeah, I mean, you just want to play straight up defense on that one and hope that you can force a turnover or force a tough shot.
First free throw is good. Seven points for Kaylin Emmel so far in this game. Second one is good as well. See if the Falcons can get a stop here to end this third quarter. Gill crosses the half-court stripe, taking it the whole way. Shot is up and good. We saw that to end the second quarter, and we just saw it to end the third quarter. Deja vu. When we come back, we'll have the fourth quarter. The Falcons are down in this one. They're going to have a valiant effort in quarter number 4, 46-33. Back in a moment on the Mountain West Network. One more quarter to go, or who knows, potentially more here at Clune Arena. Do the Falcons have a rally in them? Can they bring this 13-point deficit down to even? We'll find out over the next 10 minutes. Broncos with the ball. Nice pass inside. Missed shot opportunity by Boise. They get it back. Fresh 20 on the shot clock. Lavelle does get that shooter's touch. So nice. Was rolling off and went right back in.
I would love to see a stat that compares layup percentages to jump shot percentages for both teams, because it feels like there's a lid on the basket when we get to layups at times, and then jump shots, especially from Lavelle. I mean, she's almost automatic.
Snyder has her shot blocked. Autry Thompson calling out the play. Falcons shooting 31% for the game now, a bit better than their halftime average, but still not enough to get back into this one. And we've got another shot clock violation called against the Falcons as a result of some pretty stingy defense by Boise State.
Yep, great job there by Boise. You got to force shots like that. They've got all the momentum right now, headed into this fourth, looking to extend this lead.
Osley wants the three. She's left wide open. Doesn't get it, but there's McGuire again for another rebound. Presence of mind to get it into the scoring machine. Jade Lavelle from Mallory McGuire, and the lead is now 50-33. Ball poked away by Naro. We were talking in game number 1 a couple of nights ago. There were 5 Falcons in double digits in scoring. Tonight there's not one.
kind of the tale of two games offensively for the Falcons. Just felt like they could hit everything on Wednesday, and tonight just a lot of frustration, shooting 29%.
Kayla Pilson into the lineup, as is Cassidy Huffman. Coach Gobrecht going with a couple of different combinations, trying to find that scoring spark. Autry Thompson has it blocked. Conroe had it, and there you hear the shot clock horn again. So the Falcons are working down that shot clock. Had a couple of good looks, just couldn't get it to go. To your point, a lid on the bucket in the paint. Naro had a step. Quick recovery by Autry Thompson. Ball tipped away, and it goes off the hands of an Air Force player.
Really good job there by Kaylin Emmel. Come flying in there on that backside rotation.
Lavelle does not get it to go. Conroe comes down with the rebound. See if the Falcons push the pace here just a little bit. Autry Thompson is going to do that, loses the handle, goes out of bounds, and will stay with the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Air Force, there has to be a sense of urgency. You can't be working the shot clock down. You've got to be able to chip into this lead. 17-point game, under 8 minutes to go. Looking for good shots and being able to do it quick is everything right now.
Huffman tries the shot, working against McGuire, and she draws the foul. So Cassidy will go to the free throw line. Huffman, 3 points tonight. Take another look. I like how she squares up. Tried to go right and then quickly to the basket and just gets that foul. Free throw rattles in. Falcons are doing a good job when they get to the free throw line. Second free throw is good as well. 10 of 12 from the free throw line are the Falcons tonight. Here comes a little half-court pressure. Sykes is checked back in. McGuire, long pass to the top. Broncos regroup. Lob inside. McGuire to Naro, head fake. Sykes wants the three and doesn't get it. And there's Huffman coming down quickly with the rebound. Emmel 1-on-3. She'll slow it down and set up something here for Air Force. Kaylin out to Autry Thompson. You make a good point, Rachel. They're down 15 in this game. They need to play with a little more urgency. 15 points isn't going to come in the snap of a finger. McGuire wants the three, and she's got it from way downtown. Good shot by Mallory McGuire. Autry Thompson fouled. She'll go to the free throw line for a couple. That was the first three-pointer of the game by the Broncos, and it comes from their post player.
And I love it because she can do that. She can step out there, especially from that trail spot, get her feet set. Great looking shot. She's shooting about 35% beyond the three-point line on the season. You love when you can see post players who can stretch the floor, stretch the defense the way Mallory McGuire can.
Autry Thompson makes both free throws, 9 points. She leads the Falcon in scoring. Naro working against Autry Thompson. Gets through a screen. Naro still has it. Gonna pull up for three. Nope. And there's Pilson battling for the rebound, doesn't get it. Ends up in the hands of Mark, and she buries it. More point paints for the Boise State Broncos. Look at that shot. Going in from the left side, reverse layup for Autry Thompson, and that happened quickly.
It's one thing that Autry Thompson does such a great job at, is being able to respond. When the other team makes a basket, she wants to get the ball in her hands as quickly as she can and look to get it to the basket, forcing teams to struggle in transition defense.
Autry Thompson now working against Jade Lavelle. Lavelle crosses her dribble and goes in. Whew. Easy layup. That was pretty.
Yeah, that's just a really good player right there.
Emmel stutter steps, and they caught her. It'll be a travel call against Kaylin Emmel. 21 turnovers against Air Force. We've got a timeout on the floor. We're going to take a break. 57-39, back with the final 5.5 minutes right after this here on the Mountain West Network. Being with us at Clune Arena, Vince Greco, Rachel Galligan. Broncos in control of this one, up by 18 with 5:34 to go. And we were talking during the break that you look at some key statistics, that points in the paint, points off of turnovers, the Broncos are just dominating.
Yeah, this has really been a defensive grind for both teams. Boise State's got 32 paint points, which is a huge stat compared to Air Force's 14. Even more so, 14 second chance opportunities created off those offensive rebound looks. And then 17 points off Air Force turnovers. So those three stats right there are the difference in the game.
We're going to keep it here as we have another quick timeout. And I don't know, I think Coach Gobrecht is needing an explanation from the officials why that wasn't the Air Force's basket. It was a short conversation, so both teams will go back to their respective benches and talk again, some strategy. The Falcons trying to get it going offensively. Boise State really is in cruise control mode right now. They don't have to do anything different. They just keep playing their tough defense.
Well, and I think this is an opportunity for Boise State to continue to work offensively. It's been a challenging couple of games for them. I think they've been tested tremendously by this really frustrating Air Force defense, and just the way they hustle, the way they defend in the paint is giving head coach Gordy Presnell an opportunity to really coach his team through situations, through their offense. They haven't had a ton of time to do that as much as we typically would this season. And we talk about teams are not in January form right now as they typically would be.
Well, it's a good testament to the Broncos as well. They suffered their first loss, a big loss in a big way on Wednesday, and they have responded very, I'm sure Coach Presnell is very excited about how they responded to being beaten like they were so soundly in game number one.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you take a loss like that, especially on the road, I mean, this is a tough place to play. This is a tough team to play against, and you take a loss like that on the road, it's all about how do you respond. You know, Coach Presnell's going to learn about his team through how they responded, and I think he's got to be fairly happy with how they've responded, at least defensively, and been able to make things so difficult for Air Force. I think they've done a really good job of being aggressive at times. We talked about Naro really looking to put her head down and get it to the rim where she can. She's been a lot of fun to watch for Boise State so far.
And she has the basketball right now working against Kaylin Emmel. Lavelle lobs it inside right through the hands of McGuire, and up with the ball is Snyder. Snyder throws it to the spot that Brianna Autry-Thompson used to be, and it goes out of bounds.
Yeah, just a little bit of a miscommunication there. Autry-Thompson was getting overplayed, and Snyder thought she was going to cut back to the ball, and she tried to back cut it.
Lavelle to McGuire, way up top. Good ball movement, quick ball movement by the Broncos. Inside, and it's swatted away. Huffman comes up with the block. Good defense by Cassidy Huffman. Here comes Autry-Thompson. Drives inside, and how she gets through the land of giants is beyond me, but gets it off the glass and in for 2 more points.
Does it with a lot of speed and does it with a lot of heart.
Try to pick up double team Naro at half court. And a good give and go. That's McGuire to Mark, and that's easy. Good bucket by the Broncos. Here comes Autry-Thompson again. Same type of shot. This time McGuire was there to intimidate her just a little bit, and the Broncos back in control.
Well, 6'5", and that wingspan will do it to you.
Sykes to McGuire. Money. McGuire playing much better tonight than she did in first. Has 7 points.
On her versatility offensively, down low in the paint with her back to the basket, but can stretch the floor, shoot the three as Kaylin Emmel knocks down a jumper, but McGuire showing her ability to shoot it from all over the floor.
I like to see Kaylin Emmel get a few more wide open looks like that. When she's that wide open, she doesn't miss too often.
Well, and hopefully this game is bringing a little bit of confidence back to her as she's continuing to get back into form. And obviously a huge part of this Air Force team is Lavelle knocks down another jumper. She's just automatic from 15 feet, it feels like.
Sure does. Autry Thompson spins, gets it off the glass and in, and this time over the wingspan of McGuire. 15 points for Autry Thompson. Mark off the mark. Pilson will go quickly the other way. 2-on-2. Kayla spins too hard. There's Huffman, or excuse me, Snyder for the rebound.
Air Force substitution.
Both teams a little gassed right now. I think is what we're seeing is we're going to have a slew of substitutions into the game.
Both teams checking in for Air Force is Nikki McDonald. Sierra Winters is back in. Emily Conroe is also on the floor. Calling out instructions. Never stops coaching, this Chris Gobrecht. Emil in the corner. Snyder from way out. No, doesn't get the fall. Sykes tied up. Jump ball stays with the Falcons.
That's one thing I love about Coach Gobrecht. She is always looking for opportunities to coach her team. And always a lot of new faces, a lot of young players. Everyone's got to be ready to go at any moment, especially in a year like this. You never know, and she uses every chance she can to teach. She's a true teacher of the game and honestly a legend in women's basketball, in my opinion.
Me too. You don't, and I don't think you will get an argument from too many people. Falcons have it off the block. 10 block shots now on the game for Boise State. Naro, left-handed layup is good. Deceivingly quick. She gets the steal and then she just beats everybody to the basket. Emil brings it across the half-court stripe. Looking for some space, takes a pick, launches, too strong. Emily Conroe battling for the rebound. No, it's still loose. Conroe had it for a moment, goes off her and out of bounds. A good hustle play by Emily Conroe. Sierra Winters is going to sit down for a spell. Autry Thompson back in for Air Force. Broncos up by 20. Ball inside, Mark has it. Emil tried for the steal. Conroe working against Osley, gets her to miss. And here comes Air Force. Autry Thompson again has a step and again has another layup. There's no quit in that young lady.
She's got that speed. She can beat anybody down the court.
Trap up top. Broncos beat it. Skip pass. Cross court. And Broncos will set it up again. Try to lob it inside. Conroe with the steal, and guess who has it? Autry Thompson. She goes in. Nice dish off to Emil. Head fake. Kaylin spins. Blocked away by Muse, and she controls, and here come the Broncos. Under a minute to go in this contest. Osley wide open for three, and she makes it count. 8 points for Anna Osley. Just a freshman. She'll be around for a while. There's Autry Thompson. Shooter's touch. I think she has scored the last 4 baskets for the Air Force Falcons. Now she nearly had a steal. Ball's on the floor. Osley has it. Ball into the hands of Marks. Back up top. Osley wants another three. And she's got another three. Big smile all the way down the floor for Anna Osley.
Well, and you can tell, just a pure shooter. 0 for 5 so far in the game, and she hit that first one, and she just cracked a huge sigh of relief as she's hit 2 in a row.
Falcons will run it out here. Autry Thompson will spin in, has it blocked away, and that is going to do it as the Boise State Broncos rebound from a loss on Wednesday and bring it in here to Clune Arena and take care of the Falcons. Your final score 71-49. We'll be back to recap this one right after this here on the Mountain West Network. 71-49 final score from Clune Arena. Broncos win this one, rebounding from that loss on Wednesday night. And when we were doing this recap 2 nights ago, statistically the Falcons dominated darn near every aspect of the game, and the roles were reversed today, and it all started with the defense of Boise State.
Boise State did a really good job, really made the Falcons work for every single point they got tonight. Air Force shot just 31% on the game, held to just 20% beyond the arc. Got to the free throw line about 14 times, connected on 12 of those. But as you look at some of these stats, Boise State knocked down a lot of shots. They started knocking down some threes late in the game. The rebounding numbers were even, but it was a lot of second chance points by the Broncos. They finished the game with 14 second chance opportunities. That was a huge key to their lead. And Broncos did a great job of sharing the basketball, 18 assists. They did a better job of taking care of it than they did the other night with just 16. Air Force one too many turnovers.
Right.
And Boise State did a really good job capitalizing off of those. 19 points off Air Force's 21 turnovers. So between second chance points, the stifling Bronco defense, and points off turnovers, that's the game right there.
It really is, and great scoring from the Broncos as well, as they get double-digit scorings from 4 players, including from Naro, as you see here. 2 of her 14 points, and a lot of those, Rachel, were in the paint and just layups.
Yeah, she really set the tone early. She just kind of came out of the chute just saying, hey, I'm going to force myself to the rim. I'm going to make a defender step up and try and stop me. She really set the tone for Boise State, but just in terms of being aggressive offensively.
For the Falcons, it's their rock. We talked about her in a pregame. She was everywhere again today. She's like a linebacker on a football team as she gets hit after hit after hit, but then she delivers the hit. So I'm talking about Brianna Autry-Thompson. She had 19 points tonight, 7 of 13 from the field, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, an assist, a couple of rebounds. She's really leading this Falcon charge.
Yep, she does it on both ends of the floor. She's just relentless. She really pushes the defense to make them stop her, but it was going to fall short just a little bit as we see Boise State, Jade Lavelle, automatic from that 15-foot. I mean, she was tremendous tonight. She finished leading all scorers with 18 points. No, check that. I'm sorry, she had 18.
Right.
Brianna Autry had 19.
I think at the end of the season, we're going to be talking about her, obviously, all conference. She's one of the best scorers in the league, and she really showed in both of these games how good she really is. And we'll see more of her down the line. But hats off to the Broncos as they come back and they even up this series with their 71-49 victory here at Clune Arena. Well, next up for the Falcons, they'll now hit the road for pretty much the rest of the month. They play back-to-back games at Wyoming, and then they head to San Diego for 2 games with the Aztecs. Air Force returns home January 28th to face San Jose State. We hope to see you then for that matchup. For Rachel Galligan and our Falcon Vision crew, good night, everyone.